What happens is they sell their existence and their moments to time. They sell their entire life 9 to 5 on a schedule, pick the kids up at 6, have dinner by 7, bed by 9, start it all over again. We call that life. And it's not. Time is what you make of it. It's either here nor there. It's what you do with what moments you have. So people express time in moments. So when they try and sell you something, they try and sell you the experience of the moment, or try and sell you the experience of what the moment is doing for you. And so you remember those moments. You don't remember every single thing of that in that time, but you remember the moment in that time. So we have to remember that it's the moments that we have to cherish. And those moments, we have to be humble. See, when we're humble, we learn from our past to make our present better, so our future will be even better and greater. Always be adapting from what we did wrong in the past, or not as good, so that we can change the now, so that we can evolve for the future. So most people have a job, a job, just over broke, and what happens is they sell their existence and their moments to time. They sell their entire life 9 to 5 on a schedule, pick the kids up at 6, have dinner by 7, bed by 9, start it all over again. We call that life. And it's not. What we have to realize is you got to break out of the mold. You got to break out of the conformity. You got to break out of that. Once we break out of that, we can allow ourselves to breathe and allow ourselves to see. You see, we have eyes and ears, but we're not always seeing and hearing the universe's message. We're not always seeing and hearing what can be and will be, because we're so stuck in the stigma of what the job does to us in time. Then what happens is you fall in the system, and then you multiply that over 50 years, and you call that a life. But what we can do to change that is if we learn to not be conformed, if we learn to not always be on someone else's time, where we learn to develop our own. What does that mean? That means when you have your first job, your first job, your whole goal is not to see how much you can spend. Your whole goal is to see how much you can save. See, the whole goal is people talk about financial freedom. They say, do this and do that and you'll get financial freedom. It doesn't always work for everybody. Why? They didn't give you the formula. What's the formula? 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. When you look in social media, it's the opposite. They need 99% inspiration for them to do 1% of perspiration. That's why people are lazy and no one's doing what they did years ago. Everyone's in the entitlement phase or mode. So what we have to do is break out of that mold, apply that formula, so we see something that inspires us and just give ourselves to it. Save all your money from your job. Your whole goal is never to spend all of it. Your whole goal is to accumulate as much capital as possible, as young as you can, so you can diversify that money into different multiple sources of income, into different avenues that are going to earn you real assets. Make sense? So you have cash flow and assets. And when you have a cash flow and assets, that's called wealthy, right? But see, the problem is people, they make 500, they spend 1,000. They make 1,000, they spend 2,000. They're always spending more than they have, right? And it's always on consumer goods based on marketing to separate you from your money. What we have to understand is those are marketing companies trying to separate you from you accumulating wealth. So they have a new iPhone, a new iPad every 6 months. They have new items, new shoes, new this, new that, and all those are not making you money. Live as cheap as you can so you can live as pure and wealthy in the future. But if you trade those moments of your time and those moments for money and you keep doing it, you'll always run out of time. You'll never have enough. So your whole goal is to accumulate as much wealth as soon as possible and diversify that wealth to attain as much assets and cash flow as possible. The younger you are, the faster and easier it is for your future and for your legacy. But it's the discipline that nobody has. Stay